Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 31 of Thessia, our Australia-inspired build. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And it's a ton of fun and very nice to be back in Cities 1 after all the content spam for Cities 2. Thank you for all support on the channel. We also hit 90,000 subscribers this week as well, which is really insane, so thank you so much for all of that. But either way, we are back in Thessia, and today we're going to actually be starting the first of what's going to become Thessia's primarily kind of heavy, dirty industrial area. The cargo port will be over here, probably some kind of mass garbage processing, the airport eventually. But today we're going to be setting up the power station and actually building a coal power plant, which is a power plant we've never built before. We always tend to go for solar or nuclear when we do these dedicated power facilities. So today we're going to be taking inspiration from the Loyang coal plant in Victoria. Really interesting facility, and yeah, it turns out really nicely. We're going to start by introducing some new highway connections off of the national road here, so this area can be serviced. But otherwise, enjoy the time lapse, and I'll catch you in the live play. So it's been a good long while since we've done a power plant on the channel. I think the last one we did was Ilos' solar plant, I think. Or I guess maybe... Does Orchid Bay have a power plant? I don't think it does it? I can't remember. Not off the top of my head for right now. But either way, what we are taking inspiration from in Australia today is actually the Loyang power station in Victoria. So this thing actually has its own local coal mine, which is insane. Like, this whole landscape around this area in Google Earth is just absolutely nuts. Just this huge strip mine that's ripping coal out to feed the power plant. We're not going for that particular vibe today. We will eventually do a big strip mine, but that'll be kind of its own separate project, not part of the power plant. I want to bring some little roads in here today, and we're going to start kind of introducing the power plant with a little bit of parking, I think. So let's go for some wide boys here. Now, I want this to be quite a, not particularly run down, but, you know, not something that's particularly kept up to date, if you like. So I think a little bit of wear and tear on the roads is going to be welcome here. So if we were to do a distance of 10 and then feed this back in, how are we feeling as that as a car park configuration? It is a lot. So a lot of this space over here, eventually we'll be taking a visit over to Fremantle to take inspiration for an industrial port here. So this is all going to be kind of a big, heavy industrial area of Thessia. Its container port is going to be over here. After today, it's one of its main power stations is going to be over here as well. There should be a lot of industrial fun, I think. Cool. So this is what I want, right? As we're driving up to the facility, we see lots of car parking up front, and then after that I want to have our power stations actually set back on this road a little bit here. So let's come out from this way. We'll do distance of 10 and we'll switch back to that industrial road here, and you can go over there. Now I'm not averse to a rail crossing at this point. Let's just go for right here, and we might put something down here. We'll see how it turns out. And this can come out this way and possibly connect back into this road as well. I don't think that's going to be too bad. Let's go ahead and get some concrete surface painted down here too. Doing to save some green spaces, again looking at the Loyang plant, but there is quite a bit of concrete around here, as you would imagine, with it being a power station. Cool, I'm happy with that. And then we'll also grab one of those little service roads here and just provide a connection back into this space up this way. And just because I can't help myself, we will already go ahead and choose a fence. I love a big, secure looking network number. This one's quite nice, isn't it? How about if we were to snap into the grid here? I think this one's a little bit nicer, isn't it? Let's go for this one then. So as we approach our power station, the aesthetics are very key here today as well. I want this fence to run up into the entrance, and this should give us a really nice drive-by here, especially with all that kind of downtown infrastructure in the background as well, right? We're going to work with a really nice view today. I'll try and keep that in shot as much as we can. There, the downtown Thessia and Skyline, the bridge really coming along now, isn't it? You even see the Parliament House from over here as well. Of course, that's all in now as well. Really nice. Cool. So that's not too bad. So after my car parks are in, what I really want to do is now to have the power plants configured here. So the Loy Yang station in Australia is a coal-fired plant, and it has a couple of cooling towers on it, which is fine. So we could go onto the workshop and get some cooling towers and a whole bunch of power station assets, but of course we know the theme of Thessia is we're trying to be as creative with vanilla assets before we go ahead and download something off of the workshop. So that's what I want to try to do here. So let's come into our electricity and see what's possibly available. So we could also do some garbage recycling in here as well, because the particularly the waste disposal unit gives me a smokestack aesthetic that I'm quite keen to bring in. There's two really big smokestacks at Loy Yang that are a real kind of eye draw, right? So I think what we can do is fuse some assets together, such as the Japanese processing unit here. Then I also want the advanced coal plant. So both of these are going to be generating power for us, because of course this one, what's this one's production capacity actually for power? 12 megawatts, and we compare that to the advanced coal plant, it's 56, so it's a little bit of power there. So let's find an appropriate spot where these might be kind of fused together. Looks like there's a little spot here, doesn't it? Maybe like a little security door there, where maybe coal could be delivered through that. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and commission Robert to remove this fencing. Now, which one is it we want to get rid of? There's two of them here. I think we'll just go ahead and get rid of it all. If we want to add any more in, then we can just use Find It to get that industrial fence back. And then with that, I'd like to now align up this kind of coal yard, perhaps with a little bit of coal processing. Maybe we can bring that one in about there. So my whole thought process here is that maybe coal was delivered here or processed, and then that has access back onto this one through here, which can then enter the rest of a power plant facility, if we like, okay? I don't think that's a horrendous combination right there. I think there's definitely scope to have these two units touching, isn't there? If we can afford that with our current idea in mind, which I think we can. So that's not too bad. So we can consider this one. So there's also cooling towers at Loy Yang as well, which I'm keen to bring in. So we might have to head to the workshop for these. But before we do that, I'd like to test the nuclear plant to also be integrated, which would make this whole facility an absolutely enormous power producing unit, right? It would be a powerhouse, if you like, for lack of a better phrase. And again, I think a sensible fusing. So really, I'm not after kind of the nuclear reactors here. I'm going to pretend that they're not reactors. I'm only really including this asset for the cooling towers. So let's see, again, if we can find a nice sensible location where this one might also kind of join in. Looks like there's going to be a happy accident there, isn't there? If we were to bring these in like that. And then if we were to pretend that this is one building, and we can wrap this up with props and further expanded concrete space to respect little doors and prop ideas like this, and essentially have that as power plant A, if you like, okay? I think as a general fused complex, I'm pretty on board with that aesthetic right there. It's not too bad, is it? Let's have a little check what we're looking like kind of driving back over the hot bridges in your area. Kind of coming back over this way. We also have as well, let's not forget this metro line to bring in as well today. This set needs to come into the industrial port. So we'll do that while we're here actually. We can definitely see the kind of big smokestack, couple of cooling towers, kind of an internal infrastructure, maybe where the coal is actually burnt. Don't mind that. And this whole little configuration here is going to be absolutely just so much power. So what we can do now actually is head over to Sentinel, because they do have a temporary nuclear facility. Thank you very much. The people of the Sentinel are incredibly accommodating, allowing a little temporary nuclear site to be built. Coco Shake as well, if you heard that. She has just awoken from a nap. But I'm pretty on board with that. So, whilst we've mentioned it, let's now have a look at that metro line. So, we're definitely going to want an elevated station here, aren't we? So, let's dive into the wonderful world of elevated metro. Now, I think one of the Railroad of Japan ones is what I'm after here, because I think anything else, especially Bad Peanuts ones, are a little bit modern for this, for what I'm after. So Railroad of Japan elevated station is going to be the one, isn't it? Definitely a lot more industrial looking. Now, where do we want you to come in? It'd be cool to have this as part of perhaps a little kind of workers hub for the eventual port of Thessia. Right now it doesn't really exist in its most dramatic form, but it should be okay. And maybe we can have a back entrance onto the power plant now as well for any workers. Let's not rule it out. We'll have that there. And then let's grab ourselves that metro line now as well. Let's go for metro tracks. We'll change this into a permanent elevation. Yep, we want this to come straight out from here. Let's go for angle and road length. And pretty much just straight out this way. And I imagine this road's going to come under in a tunnel as well, because I think the airport's going to lie over here. So it's definitely going to make sense to have these interconnected with local roads from the kind of main industrial harbour with an airport, I imagine, eventually. As if the airport goes there, there's still a lot of major infrastructure to decide for Thessia, I think. So let's have this go like that, and I think we're going to take off a single section of it. And we'll hit a guideline with a curve tool. Make sure we come out from 180. And that's where we want to be. Cool. Possibly a little bit of network multi-slope required here as well. Why don't we? Let's go from here down to here, I think. Or maybe a little bit further down than that. 2.4%. One more. 2.1. We might as well go from the start, hadn't we? There we go, 1.9. Now it's easier. Just shift that pillar out the way as well. Cool, wonderful. So let's get this flowing together, because does this line already exist? Did I draw this one in? No, we didn't. So this is going to run from the Parliament House now, stopping under the bridge. Then it's going to go right under it into the port. This will be a real big commuter line, you imagine, people getting back and to from work, who work at the port. So hopefully we'll see this this metro take off. There we go. And do we want to perhaps choose a different model to this? Possibly do. Let's go for something a little more industrial looking, if at all possible. High capacity metro. I guess so. Let's go see if it leaves over this way. It will do in a second. At some point, I imagine. So let's give this a road connection now as well, so people can actually use this. Cut them straight across to there. Wonderful. A little bit of a tree lining, I imagine. You alright, buddy? Going on there. There's a nature tourist driving out of the city. He's levitating out of the city, let alone driving out of it. A few little tree linings here. I think that follows the line of the metro. Would be quite nice. Yeah, I think the high capacity metro train is going to be nice. I just want to change its colour. Maybe since it's coming into a coal-fired power plant, it can be stained black, maybe, by all the soot that's been chucked out of this thing. Maybe we can have it as that. Cool, but I'm already really liking that, okay? Cool, so let's grab this now. And again, I think we can just duplicate it and have it. I think what I would like to happen, just want to see what it's going to feel like, is to flip the orientation of the nuclear and coal plants here. Of course, they are going to need a different road to come through, which is going to be okay. And we can certainly do that just by clipping an asset through it. Bring this one back toward here. Find another sensible fusing for this one. Looks like that one's going to be decent shout there, is it? That's going to be good for me. We can get away with that. And that's all going to be good. Of course, we could always, if power is just being, because we're producing a ton of power here, what's the budget like? I imagine we haven't reduced it at all, have we? So we could bring that down by 50%. What does that actually do for production? Actually, it just takes us to pretty much near the yellow. I was going to suggest maybe turning one of these stations into a dummy, but that's probably not necessary, especially if we can get away with having them as functional plants and adjusting the budget a little bit. So this guy wants a connection, and I'm wondering, you know, just because of the way this is positioned, we can possibly clip this road actually underneath that tunnel there, can't we, I think? Which will make it aesthetically appropriate and also functional as a connection for the nuclear for the coal plant. And then in terms of connections for the nuclear one, is this going to be alright? Cashback, yes it is indeed, wonderful. Awesome. It looks like we can certainly do some things with that as well. Let's also bring a road around this way too. And then we'll just create some little service access roads now for general industrial vehicles that comes through. But as a general configuration for the power plant, as the main kind of power facility, that really stands out, doesn't it? Nice to take inspiration from Loy Yang for that, with the 2 towers and the 4 cooling towers. There is actually another set, but I think that'd be a little bit overkill maybe for Thessia's plant. Of course, it's a very modular format as well, isn't it? So if it ever needs to be expanded, it's very easily done. Cool. So I'd also love to bring in some train infrastructure here as well, because of course this is a coal plant. I think it'd be an appropriate asset inclusion. We could even bring in the rotary kilns as well. I do like these smokestacks, you know. There's a lot of choice today. We'll have to wait and see. So yeah, coal storage is another thing that I want in. So this doesn't actually need the industrial area to function, does it? It does not. So I think it'd be really cool if it's like a localized pile of coal for initial burning, but then an enormous stockpile elsewhere within the facility. I think that'd be pretty sweet. So let's go ahead and explore that. We'll grab some industrial road. Let's go with that one. And I imagine somewhere over here, I think it'd be pretty cool to kind of see the piles of coal in the foreground of the plant here, wouldn't it? So let's go with that idea. And we'll bring them out this way. We will separate them onto something like that. Again, let's see just how close we want to bring that to where the land starts to elevate to accommodate the bridge. And use that as our cutoff point. And then I think we'll back them up. So we get something like that. And then we'll do a repetition, which will give us that. And again, once these have imported their raw resource that the game reads, we should be alright, I think. So we'll wrap these roads up around here. Let's get using that small 2-lane alleyway through this way too. Good connection for all this. Little bits of dirt surface paint where needed. And then we'll wait for this to fill up and import, and then see what we think of the aesthetic. So if I can say so myself, it doesn't look too bad at all, does it? Especially with those little coal decals built up in the foreground now. You definitely tell some kind of like power institute, can't you? So there's a couple of things I want to do before we move to a detailed time lapse. For those that remember our ILOS build, these were an old faithful asset. These little power substations. They're a really nice visual, I think, to add into a power plant. So that's what we're going to do here with them. So I think we'll place it here, and then what I do want to do across the rest of the facility, but particularly around here, is to just embellish the power production site with a couple of little, I guess probably Industrial Evolution is going to be the best bet for it, I think. Just some like little warehouse sites across it that kind of give purpose to this sort of stuff. So we'll explore that while we're here. Let's come into our industrial zoning, and I want to grab some of Vandy's more modern stuff, I think. Let's go for anything that looks like it could be associated with power. Maybe one of these. Might not be a terrible shout. I reckon if we can line up the industrial evolution asset to sit here. I think if they're just out on their own here, it does look a little odd. I think there has to be like a little, almost like sub-building to the substation, doesn't there, I think. I don't mind that there. One thing I do want to do while we can see it in the network is to shift this red node across. So we line up a little more straight with that one. And then we will square this off with no crossings here. Same thing here as well. Let's turn that off. Cool, kind of makes the road network a little more pleasing, doesn't it? Okay, so if that's going to be the general configuration, I don't mind that at all. Let's bring that a little bit further down toward the road now. I guess then is actually side by side perhaps a little more of an appropriate positioning. I think it might be, and then if we do two of these, and then I think we can probably again partner with a bit more industrial evolution, which are just such fantastic versatile assets. If we are missing industrial evolution, probably one of the best content creator packs. That was a general configuration there just to help give a bit more purpose to those transformer stations, I think. And from what I can see in Luoyang, it seems to be there's kind of two main high voltage lines coming out of the transformers themselves. So if we have to do it like this, and line up one in the middle, and then I reckon now we can just feed these parallel with Thessia's National High Road network, the National Highway network rather, and then just have them flow, you know, down here toward Valkyrie, for example, and use them to detail up the vast empty Thessian outback spaces as some high voltage lines. That will eventually flow out here, but I think we'll have to be careful with how close we bring them toward bridges and whatnot. I'll have to be careful with that. Probably a little bit of terrain manipulation required here, I think, just to get them to flow over, but I think we can bring them over the interchange. Just want to push those layers back a little bit first, then we'll re-soften them out. So we can have that one cross there, for example, and go over that way. And this one can just go over there for right now, I think. I think just having the aesthetic of the kind of main high voltage lines leaving the facility just reinforces that sort of power plant vibe, doesn't it, I guess. So we'll have that there. I'd also love to see what we can mainly see well around the port of Fremantle, which the wider area here is going to be inspired by. But there is also a little train line coming through here. So what I'd love to do is to have some train import facility over this way. So let's have it here. Now I imagine there's going to be several of these, especially once we come to build the container port itself. But I'd love the power plant to have one. Almost as like it is a import point for all the vast amount of coal that is needed to keep this thing fueling. It does just have its own little import line. And I think we can get away with some really cool detailing if we were to factor this one kind of through the actual power plant yard itself. Hopefully it's not going to get too insanely busy with train traffic, and I imagine eventually this might become a little more sunken or embanked. We'll have to wait and see just what happens with the traffic here. I imagine once the cargo port is in, this will become unsustainable, but we'll have to wait and see. You alright, freight train? It's just stopped. He is exporting. Oh, there we go. Simulation is breaking down around us. There we go, you okay? There we go, now they're alright. So yeah, I think that'd be cool, right? We'll see how that performs. And then I think there's going to be some nice industrial detail and opportunities around here as well to factor all this in. Should be pretty cool, I think, especially to see trains leaving from the power station. I don't think I need this omnidirectional, do I? It should be okay. So we only accept imports on one side. Think any more and it's just going to overload this line with cargo train traffic, which I don't want to do. So we'll leave it just one directional for right now. That might change, I think, once the main container port comes into play, but we're a little whiles away yet from that build. Cool. But otherwise, guys, let's do some detailing. I want to embellish the site with lots of little mini kind of warehouse districts using the industrial evolution stuff. Lots of prop work, containers, kind of dirt and piles and fence work, tree linings, and just generally turn it into a nice little prop detailed industrial facility as we now have a home for Thessia's kind of real heavy industry for the power plant first to be over here. But otherwise, let's do some detailing and we'll be right back.
I just need one night where it just feels right. The stars all aligned. I just need one night. I just need one night where it just feels right. The stars all aligned. We do what we like. I just need one night where it just feels right. The stars all aligned. I just need one night. I just need. 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 I just need one night where it just feels right. The stars all aligned. We do what we like. I just need one night where it just feels right. The stars
Okay guys, let's have a little detailing review, shall we? So we will arrive at the front of the facility, which has all been fenced and tree lined off now. Ended up changing this connection as well. We are crossing into a bridge. Just because it was looking like it was going to clog, so better to preempt that traffic solution now. We do have an enormous empty car park right at the front of the facility. It's getting a little bit of parking over here. I'm banking on this getting a lot more use once all the kind of scrap yards and cargo, sort of like cargo container port is in here. Which we'll definitely get around to. We're kind of coming into more heavy industrial builds now in Thessia, especially over this side of the map, this side of the bridge. So yeah, it will get busier eventually. At the front of the metro station here, where we've got a fence and a little bit of brushwork so people can walk back to actually get into the metro station here. Which I really like that, right? I love the fact that these stations are double-sided, walking through the little ticket gates there. There we go. Wonderful news. But at Luoyang, there's actually kind of a visitor centre that almost looks like you could just get a bit of information on, you know, when the coal plant was founded and how it operates, etc. So a little bit of industrial evolution here to respect that by a bit of a kind of a rivals visitor information centre if you want to. And then the networks here just span around the elevated metro and hook back into the arterial. That does eventually hook through here to provide some temporary connections because there was a bit of dead needing to be collected over here and they weren't being collected for some reason, but they are now. So expect this area, I think, to develop into the airport at some point in the future. Not for right now though. That's a long way away yet to get to Thessia's airport build, I think. But we do have our import facility now, lots of industrial props and decals around here, just to expand what comes in with that train station, which I really like. We also had a whole bunch of coal trains as well from some of our previous rail yard detailing, and just as the aesthetic in front of the coal towers and the coal plants and those big piles of coal from the Industries DLC, some very appropriate thematic detail I thought. And this just comes off on a branch off of the main line where you can see there is now one of those cargo trains coming and going, which is very nice to see, isn't it? Maybe we should get some cargo train assets. These vanilla ones are a little bit crap, aren't they? Maybe we should go get some. Might be quite nice. Over in this concrete space here, dropped in a couple of the old faithful industrial warehouses that function as cargo containers here. Or cargo containers that function as warehouses, rather, is what I meant to say. And these are just storing commercial goods that have been imported by the train station over there. So whereas we are pretending it's kind of coal import, it's actually serving a little bit of function for the area over here. Coming through, I love how the train yard passes through the power plant itself and then goes back out. That's a really nice aesthetic. Big fan of that one. Then we got tree linings again, respecting what is at Luoyang in Victoria. We'll come through here where we emerge into lots of surface painter. Our transformers are back here as well with all the appropriate buildings around them. Dropped in a little bit more industrial evolution, almost as to try and pretend perhaps this is a kind of older building that's part of the power plant and was maybe once used for producing power, but has since just been decommissioned as the kind of more industrially heavy and advanced infrastructure has been built. These kind of older power stations maybe still get a little bit of use, but not the main focus anymore. And then just some classic detailing props around the back, fencing and decals and whatnot, just to help tie it all together. And then this vibe continues all the way through here again as well. And then our main access into the area, which of course will grow and develop as we come out this side. I think we're going to do a Cairns-inspired town over here, but that does leave some stuff over here to be done. I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with this side of Thessia yet, so if you have any ideas, do leave them down below, of course. And then this has just been IMT'd up as and when is appropriate. And it's getting much nicer traffic flow now, a lot better than it was when we set it up. Simple chevrons and lines and whatnot, and people coming on and off the roundabout. I think just because of the way we've drawn these in, this should kind of mean turn left, but it is straight on. But just the way Traffic Manager set it up, but it is flowing nicely. Unfortunately, we are getting a lot of dummy traffic. We might have to turn on the optimized outside connections mod to get rid of dummy traffic, because you can see them here, right? It's all these camper vans turning around over this way to get back on the highway just to leave the city again. The exact same thing happens over at the Banana Egg interchange in Valkyrie. People use this turn off here to just get off the highway, turn around and then leave again. It's a little silly. But otherwise guys, that is going to do it for today. I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed it, likes, comments and shares below really do help the channel to grow. And we are now on that push to 100,000 subscribers, which is absolutely insane. Really overwhelming and very humbling to hit 90k this week. A number, if you'd have told me 4 years ago when we started uploading Cities 1 content that you would one day hit 90k, I would have just laughed in your face. Really crazy. Come and join our Discord down below. Check out the Instant Gaming link. Come and have a look at the Patreon page if you're interested in supporting the channel further. It all really goes a long way to helping make these videos. Really nice to be back in Thessia as well. Our normal schedule will now resume now the Cities 2 launch week is over with. So expect Thessia, as always, on your Friday release, Orchid Bay on Monday, and then Cities 2 content scattered in and around that whilst that game continues to find its feet. Otherwise, please enjoy some return cinematics to Thessia, but I'll shut up and leave it there. Let's thank you all so much for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.